Hey everybody, we got to talk about it, right? This whole AI thing, it's kind of a big deal, and everybody's especially concerned about jobs. And I know that weighs especially heavy on the minds of a lot of Black Americans. But before we go full on doom and gloom, I got to give a shout out to a group that's doing amazing work helping people figure this all out. Today's deep dive is brought to you by BAM, that's Business Automation Management. Their founder, William Sella, he's really dedicated to making sure that nobody gets left behind with all this AI stuff. They've got training and education and business support, all specifically to help people adapt and thrive in this new world. So if you're feeling a little lost, head over to www.bam4u.biz or give them a call, 1-754-242-7342. They've got you covered. Thanks, William, for sponsoring this conversation and giving our listeners some real solutions. Okay, so let's get into it. We've got this video essay we're diving into today, and it paints a pretty interesting picture of what the world might look like if AI starts taking over a lot of the jobs that humans do now. So we're going to tackle some big questions here. Which jobs are really the most at risk?
And is AI really going to create more jobs than it destroys, like some people say? And probably the most important question for all of us is, what does this mean for you? How can you get ready for this future? So the video starts off with this pretty relatable example. You know those self-checkout machines at the grocery store? Remember when those first showed up? It was kind of weird, right? But now they're everywhere. And get this, a 2021 survey found that 60% of people actually prefer them over the regular checkout lines.
It's true. I mean, that's a perfect example of how things are already changing right in front of us. We're going from employees doing the work to customers doing the work, and automation is making that happen. And it's not just self-checkout. Think about all those automated customer service systems. You know, those annoying phone trees that make you want to scream?
Oh, don't even get me started on those.
Yeah.
And it's not just retail or customer service either. The video actually mentions this CEO who was bragging on Twitter about how he replaced 90% of his customer service staff with AI. Kind of a scary thought.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think. And it really highlights the kinds of jobs that are most vulnerable to AI. You know, the ones that are procedural and consistent, like the video says. Data entry, office jobs, even skilled fields like coding are seeing huge changes. We could be talking millions of jobs here.
Okay, so I know what some people are thinking right now. They're like, wait a minute. Hasn't new technology always created more jobs? Like cars replace horses, and that didn't exactly wreck the economy, right?
You're absolutely right. That's a common thought. And it is true that historically new technologies have often led to new jobs. But the source here makes a really interesting point for him. AI is different. The speed and the scale of AI and its potential to automate things across so many industries is unlike anything we've seen before. It's not just one industry changing, it's potentially the entire workforce.
And the source really focuses on the potential impact on lower wage workers and people without college degrees, which, is a huge concern for the Black community. So if AI really does replace millions of jobs, what happens to those folks? How do they adapt?
That's the big question, isn't it? And to be honest, it's a tough one. The video uses the Industrial Revolution as an example. Millions of people moved from agriculture to manufacturing, but for decades, their wages hardly changed.
So we're talking about potential economic hardship on a massive scale.
That's definitely a concern. And the source argues that this time around, it could be even worse because of how fast AI is developing. It might not take decades to adjust. It could happen a lot quicker.
Okay, so things are sounding a little bleak here. But the video does offer a glimmer of hope. Right? It suggests that new jobs will emerge managing these AI systems. It's kind of like how store clerks manage self-checkout now, instead of ringing up customers themselves.
That's true. We'll definitely need people to manage and maintain and improve AI as it takes over certain tasks. But we have to be realistic here. Those new jobs might not be enough to replace all the jobs that are lost. And they might not pay as well or require different skills. And they might not be accessible to everyone who's lost their job.
So where does that leave us? The video presents two possible scenarios. One is a dystopian future where AI only helps the wealthy, and that leads to social unrest. The other is a future where the profits from AI are used to support something like universal basic income, UBI.
UBI is a really interesting idea. It's basically where everyone gets a guaranteed income whether they work or not. It could be like a safety net during this big economic shift. But it's complicated. There are a lot of unknowns. How do we pay for it? What are the long-term effects on the economy and on society?
Yeah, UBI is a whole other conversation. But no matter what happens, one thing's for sure: we have to adapt and learn new skills. And that's where organizations like BAM come in. They're giving people the tools and resources, particularly in the Black community, to stay ahead of the game.
Absolutely. It's all about empowering people to take control of their future. no matter what happens in the job market. And it's not just whole jobs disappearing either. The source makes this point about how AI is changing the way we work, even in jobs where humans are still really important.
So you mean like even if your job isn't completely taken over by AI, it could still change what you do every day?
Exactly. Like the source uses doctors as an example. They're not going to be replaced by robots anytime soon. But AI can already do a lot of the administrative stuff, like paperwork and data analysis, which frees up the doctors to spend more time with their patients.
Okay, well that actually sounds like a good thing, right? Less paperwork for doctors means more time with patients.
Right. But it shows how AI is changing the skills that are most needed now. It's not just about being good at your job today, it's about being able to adapt and learn new things. And being able to work with AI. It's about constantly learning and updating your skills.
This is like the whole job landscape is shifting under our feet, and we need to be ready to adjust.
Exactly. And that's where things can get tricky, especially for communities that have historically faced barriers to education, economic opportunities. The source talks about how this could be a real problem if we don't handle this transition very carefully. They talk about wages not keeping up with the cost of living and inequality getting worse, and maybe even social unrest.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. It sounds like the stakes are really high.
They definitely are. The source argues that AI could be even more disruptive than the Industrial Revolution because of how fast it's happening, and we know that the Industrial Revolution led to a lot of hardship for workers for a long time.
Okay, so we've got this potential economic earthquake coming. What can we do about it? The source mentions universal basic income as a possible solution, but it also says that there are no easy answers.
UBI is an interesting idea that's getting more attention. The basic idea is that everyone gets a guaranteed income, no matter if they have a job or not, kind of like a safety net for the AI age.
Yeah.
But it brings up a ton of questions, too.
Yeah, like how would we pay for it? And would it make people less motivated to work?
Those are definitely important questions. And there's no guarantee that UBI is the right answer or that we could even make it work on a large scale. The point the source is making is that we need to start having these conversations now. We can't wait until millions of people are out of work to start figuring this out.
And these conversations need to include everyone. We have to make sure everyone has a voice, especially the communities that are most likely to be negatively impacted by AI.
Absolutely. We can't just assume that everyone will benefit from AI. We need to create policies and programs that make sure the transition is fair and equitable.
So it sounds like we need a multi-pronged approach. Invest in education and training, explore new economic models like UBI, and make sure that AI is developed and used ethically.
That's a great summary. It's not about stopping AI, it's about making sure it's used to benefit everyone, not just a select few.
This deep dive has really shown how important it is to be proactive. It's not enough to just wait and see what happens. We have a responsibility to shape the future, to be informed and take action.
I completely agree. This is a pivotal moment. The choices we make now will affect generations to come.
And that brings us back to the importance of organizations like BAM. They're providing those crucial resources and support to help people navigate this new world, especially in the Black community.
Absolutely. They understand the specific challenges Black Americans face in the workforce, and they've created programs to meet those needs. They're not just teaching technical skills. They're building community and confidence and a network of support.
That's so important because feeling isolated and overwhelmed can really hold people back.
It's true. Having a support system, people who understand what you're going through, can make all the difference.
So if I'm feeling overwhelmed by all this, what's the first thing I should do?
Don't freak out. Take a deep breath and remember you're not in this alone. Reach out to organizations like BAM. Check out their website, www.bam4u.biz, or give them a call at 1-754-242-7342. They'll answer your questions, connect you with resources, and help you find your way forward.
That's a great reminder. It's about taking action, not getting stuck in fear.
Exactly. This is a chance to not just adapt, but to lead. We need diverse voices and perspectives involved as we figure out this new world.
I love that. It's not just about surviving, it's about shaping the future.
Absolutely. And that's why BAM's work is so crucial. They're empowering a new generation of leaders who are ready to thrive in the age of AI.
This conversation has given me a lot to think about, and I'm sure it has for our listeners too. So before we wrap up, I want to make sure we spend some time talking about concrete steps we can take to prepare for this AI-powered future. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll dig into some practical advice and resources to help you navigate this new landscape. All right, so we've talked about the challenges and the potential problems with AI, but now I think it's time to talk about solutions. What can we actually do to not just survive, but really thrive in this future with AI everywhere?
Well, the source really emphasizes that this isn't about suddenly becoming some kind of tech genius overnight. It's more about having the right mindset, being willing to adapt and learn new things.
So you're saying it's less about specific technical skills and more about being open to always learning new things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the skills you have today might not even be relevant tomorrow. That's how fast things are changing. So it's really about being flexible, curious, and, being open to new possibilities.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we cultivate that kind of mindset? Where do we even begin?
The source talks a lot about transferable skills.
Yeah.
Things like critical thinking and problem-solving, communication, collaboration. Those are valuable in any industry and pretty much any job.
And those are all skills that can't easily be done by AI, right?
Right, and they're only going to become even more important as AI starts taking over more of the routine tasks.
So how do we develop these skills? Is it about going back to school, taking online courses?
I mean, there are tons of resources out there, both online and in person, but it's not just about formal education.
Right.
It's about actively being engaged in learning. Read books, listen to podcasts, go to workshops, network with people in different fields.
I love that. It's about being proactive and always looking for new information and experiences.
Exactly. And don't forget about mentors. Finding someone who's already doing this stuff can be super valuable. They can give you advice, support, and even, open doors to new opportunities.
And that's actually something that BAM is really good at, right? Providing mentorship and support specifically for Black Americans.
Oh, absolutely. They get the unique challenges that Black folks face in the workforce, and they've built their programs specifically to address those needs. They're not just teaching tech skills, they're building community, fostering confidence, creating a support network.
That's so important because feeling alone and overwhelmed can really stop people from taking action.
Definitely. Having a support system, having people who get what you're going through can make a huge difference.
So say I'm feeling totally overwhelmed by all this. What's the first step I should take?
First of all, don't panic. Take a deep breath and remember you are not alone in this. Reach out to organizations like BAM. Check out their website, www.bam4u.biz, or give them a call, 1-754-242-7342. They're there to help you get your questions answered, connect you with resources, and help you figure out your next steps.
That's a great point. It's about taking action, not getting stuck in fear.
Yeah, this is our chance to not just adapt, but to really lead. We need diverse voices and perspectives as we build this new world.
I love that. It's not just about surviving, it's about shaping the future.
Absolutely, and that's why BAM's work is so vital. They're empowering a whole new generation of leaders who are ready to thrive in the age of AI.
This has been such an insightful conversation. It's so clear that AI is a powerful force, but it's really up to us to decide how it's used.
The future isn't set in stone. We have the power to shape it.
So let's choose to be architects of a future where AI benefits everyone, where it creates opportunities and helps us build a more just and equitable world. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time.